Oh, blessings be on my listener, the pure consciousness who herself or himself has uncluttered from the drama and from the fog. I, the pure consciousness, or I, the sense of self awareness, would manifest the words of truth and the words of wisdom through this finite mind and through this finite body. First of all, before before we get into that, what I wanted to talk about today. Today is a Thursday here in America. Today is a Thursday. And today is July 1st, which means that it is Canadian Independence Day. So, to all my Canadian friends and to all the people from Canada who are following my channel, happy birthday, Canada. Okay, so the thing is, even though I am not from Canada and I reside in America, but I celebrate quite a few, or at the very least, I wish quite a few countries' birthdays when it's their birthday or Independence Day. Because as you can see that today we are going to talk and we are going to look into life and how immense of a possibility life is. You see, I remember talking about life in numerous previous sessions and in numerous previous retreats on and off, but today we are going to look into more profound detail. Today we are going to look into much detail um, to life. So the first thing, as I told you, that I just wished Canada happy birthday, just like that, I wish other countries their Independence Day, because life, this is the lesson number one. You see, this is the lesson number one. That life basically is about embracing the differences. Life is about embracing the differences. These are different features and these are different form of life. You see, life is constantly evolving. Life is constantly changing. It is changing the form. It is changing the feature. Today I am in this form in America. Tomorrow my reincarnation may be in Europe or in Canada or in Southeast Asia. So what I am today, tomorrow I would be something or somebody else. That's how life evolves, and the very nature of life is to evolve, and it is constantly evolving, and it is constantly giving birth non-stop. The immensity the immensity of creation is immense. You see, we cannot gauge in words or in numbers the immensity of creation. So the first thing we need to remember about life, that life is all about embracing the differences. Life is all about to lessen the friction in it. Life is all about no friction. Life as an energy is all about unity. This is what life is all about. Yoga, for example, or for instance, what yoga does, yoga is the union. Yoga, the practice, touches the very core and the very nature of life itself, because yoga is union with the sacred and union with the creation. Everything is the same. Yoga is all about union, hence it touches the very nature of life. Two, we must remember number two, which is very, very important for us to remember, for all of us, that this is a common question, this is a common occurrence which is happening basically every day on the regular basis. This question arises in somebody's mind, in somebody's mind, in somebody's awareness, no matter what part of the world or what part of the globe you live in. This question arises: what is the purpose of life? I do remember talking about it on and off in the previous messages, the messages I have conveyed through the conversation or the retreat, whatever we want to call it. But today, as I said, we need to remember that it's a day when we are looking at it more profoundly and we are elaborating more profoundly on it. Life needs no purpose. You see, you see what I'm saying? Life itself need no purpose. Um, do you think that you need, which you are the manifestation of life and essentially life, you are on a fundamental level at this moment in time, um, do you think that you need a purpose to be? Do you, I want you to sit maybe sometime in a super silent corner, and these are the questions each one of us must ask at some point in time in our life. That do you really think that you need a purpose to be? You see, and if you come up with the answer of that question with a yes, affirmative, or yes, then you need to remember that if we think that life needs a purpose, and suppose um, you or we have fulfilled. You understand what I'm saying? If you come up with the answer that yes, life needs a purpose, or we come up with the answer that life needs a purpose, and suppose we fulfilled the purpose, if we come up with the answer that yes, and suppose then whatever the purpose is, we have fulfilled that purpose, what happens after? You see what I'm saying to you? If we think or we come up with the answer that life needs a purpose, and suppose that we have fulfilled that very purpose, then what? What to do? Or what else is there to do? You see, bored, isn't it? Bored, sitting around because we have fulfilled the purpose. So please remember something, that life needs no purpose. Life is without a purpose. Life is evolving. You see, through life, the sense of self-awareness, through life, the sense of consciousness, trying to understand itself. Hence, through life, it is giving birth non-stop. However, there is a second answer to that. Excuse me. However, there is a second answer to that, and the second answer to that is suppose that you have filled that purpose, then you are bored. That was the first answer. The second answer is, if you are so adamant, you see what I'm saying? If you are looking at life with a rational mind, if you are looking at life with a logical mind, if you are the person of logic and you are the person of rational, which is fine, which you may even consider that your defense mechanism. However, what I'm saying, if you are so adamant to find the purpose of life, then remember something, the only purpose, the very life, which is the life energy, the very life or the life energy, the only purpose which this offers is the very life energy, the only purpose the life energy offers is to find happiness. You see, as you are noticing that today I might be taking a little more pauses than usual, because for one, I have been at least last couple of hours in a profound state of meditation, and I was taken very up high in that. Number two, usually when I am delivering a message, until unless I have to, I don't use my intellect, or what we understand as human intellect or human mind as much. So if you are a person of logic or the rational, and if you are so adamant to find a purpose, so the sole purpose of life is basically to find happiness without any outer help. The sole purpose of life is to accept itself, that whoever created this life and whoever created this form of life has done a tremendous and has done a beautiful job on it. You understand what I'm saying? Whoever has done, has created this life in its very natural form, this accumulation of life in its very natural form, has done a tremendous and a beautiful job on it. When I am saying that whoever has made this, I'm not talking about color. You understand? It does not matter. I am saying it's a beautiful job and it's a phenomenal job that's been done on this and that's been done on this. And I'm not talking about how you look. I'm not talking about how your features look. I'm not talking about the color of your skin. I'm not talking about all this which is abstract, which is subjected to the birth and the bodily demise, each one of us. I'm talking about the very fundamental existence of the being. It is such a tremendous and beautiful job that if you took one lifetime to even understand yourself, that one lifetime is not even enough, because the life which is running through you is literally existing on numerous different levels. It's existing in the form of karma. It's existing in the form of a ethereal body. Excuse me. It is existing in the form of everything that you have gathered, your memory. It is existing in the form of your emotions, how you feel in certain moments in time, and how well you know yourself. You are existing on numerous different levels. Please remember, there's such a beautiful job's being done that is totally complete. And if you are so adamant to find a reason in life, this is your answer to the purpose, the reason for life. If you are adamant, the purpose of life is to find happiness without any outside help. The purpose of life to realize that this is complete. Whatever has made this, has made this in a complete and a full manner. You see, a complete and a full manner. It's a given. It's a fact. And the purpose of life again is to find happiness. The purpose of, if you are so adamant to find a purpose, the purpose of life is to find completeness without any outside of help. The purpose of life is to find fulfillment. Life is a gift. You understand? Life is an immense possibility, because when you come in the form of a human, it means you have evolved quite a bit already, and hence you are in the human form. And while you are in the human form, it means that now you have memory and you have imagination. If you learn only to handle the memory and the imagination, life is an immense possibility. There is no stopping you then. If you only learn to these two faculties in the human form, life becomes an immense possibility. And there is then, and you feel that you are limitless. You understand why I'm saying to you? If you can only learn to handle these two faculties, the memory and the imagination, life basically is an immense possibility. Most people, unfortunately, most humans, since they are not really in touch with the very core of life, since they have not understood. I'm not saying all humans. You see, there are humans who have understood it. However, most humans have not taken enough, excuse me, have not taken the, have not taken enough time to understand the very core of life. That's why they cannot handle these two faculties, the memory and the imagination. The memory and the imagination is a thought process. The memory and the imagination, what in yogic science or yogic culture we refer as to psychological drama. You understand? Memory and imagination means now you are evolving consciously. Rumi, you have heard of Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi. I'm sure you have heard of Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, or simply Rumi, as known as in West, was a Persian philosopher and a real mystic, by the way. Rumi, though he was in Persia, but he had nothing to do with any religion. Please know that. And he was not a man of faith. He was a man of doubt, and he was a mystic. This is what mysticism is, that he experienced life firsthand, but not by anybody or anything. You understand? Rumi said, when consciousness is in the flowers, it evolves as the fragrance. When consciousness is in the animals, it evolves without a long-term memory or the sense of discrimination in the mind. But when you come as a human, now consciousness evolves consciously. You understand? That's a beautiful thing. You understand what he said? He said, when you come in the human form, consciousness, what you are fundamentally, consciousness evolves itself consciously. Now, you cannot, when you are in different forms, you are evolving, but you are evolving consciously. But when you come in a human form, you have no choice but to evolve now consciously. Means the very process of evolution recognizes or acknowledges that it is evolving consciously. You see, and this is because we have memory and we have imagination. Uh, as I referred not long ago, the psychological drama. And it's a beautiful thing, however, to have memory and to have imagination. But once you have the memory and once you have the imagination, you must learn to handle it. Because if we do not learn to handle our memory, if we do not learn to handle our imagination, then we might be in a little trouble. Please remember that. The reason I said we might be in a little trouble, because it can seize the very expression of our life, literally the memory and the imagination, if we do not learn to handle it properly. But if we have learned to handle it properly, then and only then we are limitless. We are a tremendous possibility. As I said, life is a tremendous possibility. Then life becomes your ally. Then then you see beauty everywhere. If you have learned to handle that, then you have no fear. Then you have no doubt in yourself. How do you learn to handle it properly? First thing, please remember towards, if you are serious, if you are adamant, if you are if you are real and genuine enough to handle, if you are real and if you are genuine enough to handle your memory and your imagination, please remember the first thing, the first step towards that is to create a sufficient distance between your memory and your imagination, which is your mind and your body, and what you essentially are, which is pure consciousness and pure awareness. You understand? Think of it as a triangle. If you have any questions in the future about this about this message, singular, I'm delivering today, you can write me and ask me while I still can answer. Please understand that. You can only do so if you want to really take charge of your memory and your imagination. You can only do so when you create sufficient distance between your mind, which is your memory, and imagination, your body, and your self awareness. Think of it as a triangle. Self awareness, basically, the fundamental form of the being is self awareness. Self awareness has no attributes attached to it. You understand what I'm saying to you? I hope you are following me. What our fundamental, yours, mine, everything. Remember, atheist, I believe that there is nothing before and there would be nothing after. You understand what I'm saying? Everything is connected if you are just following my words. Atheists basically believe there is nothing. You see, there is nothing. That's what we understand as the meaning of atheist. They believe there is nothing. And I will be honest with you. I pondered about that quite a few times throughout all the years I have lived, and I would be honest with you, they are not entirely wrong. However, uh, they are not entirely right either. Because, of course, if you cannot deny the very, excuse me, you cannot deny the very existence of yourself, starting from your own self, then your body. You feel what you feel, but it is real. You cannot deny it. So, of course, it's coming from somewhere, isn't it? Yes, that somewhere is nothing. That part I agree with them. And it's true that the fundamental feature or the form of the being is nothing. It has no attributes attached to it. It has no objectivity attached to it. It has no feature. It has no smell. It has no taste. It has no touch. That's why in religious circle you hear they say God is omnipresent and God is omnipotent. You see, so if you are interested enough and serious enough to take charge of your memory and your imagination so you can feel the beauty of life and then you don't complain that I don't like my life or this or that. You see, it's a sad thing also, it's an irony. So you would have to create basically a sufficient distance between what you are and what form you have taken, because the form you have taken is subject, it has objectivity attached to it, it has a physicality. Understand that, please. It is limited, and form the very form of us defines its border, hence it has physicality. It is subject to birth and it is subject to bodily demise. We all know that. However, if we create the distance and if we, what the word I'm looking for, if we establish ourselves in our true nature, there comes a time that you can establish yourself in your true nature. I do it all the time, or for the most part, specifically when I am in a deep state of meditation. I'll give you a small tool as well. You see what I'm saying to you? So I do it all the time. So once you establish yourself, you are very capable of doing that, because if I can do it, so can you, because real me and real you is the same. Please remember, I keep saying that. So what, once you establish yourself in your true nature, then you, the distance automatically is created. Then you can see, okay, I have taken this form. You see, you are not attached to the form, yet you are nurturing the form. You see, it does not mean that, God forbid me, thousand times that we are doing self abuse and doing any number of bad things. No, it does not mean that. It means actually just the opposite. What it means is that the more we are in our true form, the more realized we are in our true form, the self-awareness, the more distance naturally is created between us and our body. We still remain the body, excuse me, we still remain in the body, and we still nurture the body. You see, because our body, in the yogic culture, there is a say that human body or our body is just like a temple. You see, consider it as a temple where God lives. So it's a sacred thing where God lives. This is where God lives, and this is where God finds, and this is where through which that's this is a good statement. This is where through which God finds an expression among creation. So our body is beautiful, our body is completely loyal to us. The more we are established in our true nature, the more we nurture our body and we take care of our body. I wouldn't tell you this until unless I know through my own experience. I nurture my body. When I look at the mirror, I don't see myself. However, I see a projection of the self awareness and self consciousness. You see, I see a projection of myself. And what I see in myself, that what I see in the projection, I like it. Because this carries me everywhere. However, it's a shell. It's a vessel or a shell, whatever the term you have been told you want to use. It's a shell and it's a vessel. However, it carries me everywhere. You understand what I'm saying to you? And it's completely loyal to me. So, what I do, I nurture it, I clean it, I give it enough rest. I do physical practices to keep it in balance, and I try to make it attractive for others so they can feel the sense of pleasantness too. You see, it's very important. This is the this is one of the very generic gift we can give to other humans. You see, if they look at us or if they hear us, they feel a sense of pleasure. You understand what I'm saying? That is the generic gift that you can give it to anybody, and it does not cost you anything. Please remember that. So yeah, so when you have created the distance, then you can take the charge of your memory, and then you can take the charge of your imagination. It means now it does not control you. Now you control it, and the way you control it, when you want to use it, when you want to function in the society, then you can go ahead and use it. Otherwise, you can put it aside in the silence. When you are alone, you have taken the mask off and you have put it aside, and you retrieve back to your fundamental state, which is self awareness or self consciousness. Uh, through meditation, through making time for yourself, little by little every day. Remember, I have mentioned it numerous times in the previous retreats. Nothing happens in a blink of an eye, nothing happens in a few hours and a few seconds, because what we have been told for the most part is human conditioning. You see, and now we are learning to challenge the things we were handed over and we were told that this is you. Now we are learning to challenge all that. So, of course, it's going to take time. But the good news is uh, that it is very possible, and it is very, very possible to achieve that. You see what I'm saying to you? It is extremely possible. it is. It may take time. As I said, everything comes with the time. There is time in nature time is a marker, but a very useful marker. You see, everything takes time. So, whatever the concept of time you have in your mind, it would take that. Time creates alone and time kills. You understand? As Lord Krishna, as Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Kolasmi, it's Sanskrit, it means I am time. You understand? So, time, everything takes time. You see, it can, of course, you would see tremendous results. You would see that you are more in charge of your mind by doing simple practices. Simple things, simple examples, simple practices can make a huge difference in your life. Please understand that. This is my own experience, I'm telling you. So if you sit, um, if you sit and attentive every day in a super silent corner, you make time, usually in the beginning of the day, and you sit attentive, but as attentive as humanly possible, of course, not hurting yourself, otherwise, there is no point. The point is to nurture us. So, when you sit attentive with your spinal cord or your backbone erect and place your hands on your knees, close your eyes. Do it every day. It does not take, you see, it does not take anything. It does not take any outer help. It does not take any substance. It does not take another person. It just takes you, the accumulation, and what you essentially are. It is so easy to perform, but the results are tremendous. The results are phenomenal. You know these words of English. So, anyway, this is you would do, and then you would start experiencing only within a few days the immensity of life, that how life is an immense possibility. Everything would be given to you. Please remember that. If you just let that happen, everything would be given to you. If you take the right measures with that, if you keep your vacuum empty but not occupied with negative traits, then the process even expedites and you would see tremendous results in a few days, not even in the weeks, if you take the right measures, as I've been doing in last numerous years. So you would sit with your legs crossed, you see here. You would sit with your legs crossed, you would place your both of your palms on your knees, you would sit straight, you would look straight, and then you would close your eyes. And you would bring or you would zero in the very process of your breathing. When you close your eyes, you see what I'm saying to you? The other day I demonstrated the same example. When you close your eyes, of course, you need to focus on a fact that you are not ceasing to exist, even when your eyes are closed. You see what I'm saying? My eyes are closed right now. You are sitting with me in the position I just explained a minute ago. We are zeroing in or focusing on our breathing right now. And when we close our eyes, as mine are closed right now, we realize that we are not this body. You see, we realize we are not this mind, because if we were the body and mind, as soon as we closed our eyes, we would lose the sense of being aware, or we would cease to exist, in other words. That right there shows you, it's a very basic example, that right there shows you that's not happening. So you are something more than your body and you more than your mind. Now I want you, while our eyes are closed and we are sitting like that, I want you to bring your focus only and solely, maybe, to explore what that is. How does it look? How does it smell? Or does it even smell? You see, not through a thinking mind, not through the human intellect, not through the psychological drama. You see, it may be hard in the beginning. It may seem like a workout, but you can still try. and one day you would succeed. I want you to see what that is, basically, which is more than the mind and the body. I want you to see what that is, which is not ceasing to exist. Let's do that. Do this, please, every day. Make some time for yourself. The second important thing to remember so you can experience the immensity of life, that try not to avoid your karma. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Remember something, everything, the entire experience which is being generated, the entire experience which is being generated around you is being generated because of the karma. You see, sometime you would hear a voice in your head. It does not mean that we are crazy, but we all go through with that kind of, unfortunately, with that kind of process, that we hear a voice, I don't like this person, or why this person is talking that way, I don't like this place or a song. You see, the voice is a thought. For whatever reason that thought has occurred, you do not bring your focus voluntarily to the thought itself. You you don't listen to it, or you don't give in to it. Only when you bring your awareness, what you essentially are, through your focus to the thought, now you are hooked, you see, and we cannot be exclusive to one thought, because life is happening overall. That thought would remain. Please remember this. It's very important for you to know. The thought would remain in your awareness for some time. Okay? It would make an attempt through different features and through different forms. However, if you don't bring your attention, or if you don't bring your focus voluntarily, it would leave you alone after some time. It's a promise. You see, my hand on my heart, it's a promise. I do it all the time. And as soon as you transcend that thought, means when the thought dissipates in your awareness, it's not gonna occur again. When the thought dissipates in your awareness, it would not rise because the thought has died now. You didn't give it life. You give it life through your focus. You understand? If you do not, excuse me, if you do not give it life through your focus, it would leave you alone and it would subside for good. You have transcended one thought. This is what life is all about. Life is about also to transcend these negative traits which are attached tightly to it. You see, you take a rubber band and you wrap a tight rubber band around your finger. You see, the rubber band is tightly wrapped around your finger and you can feel the sensation. That's how all these negative thoughts, the thoughts which creates doubt in you, the thought which creates fear in you, the thought which creates distinction among humans, these are all the negative traits which are attached to the life energy or the life force, just like the tight rubber band around your finger. So once, and life is basically to transcend these type of, transcend yourself from these type of thoughts. That's what we understand also as the sharing of karma. So now you understand the sharing of karma and finding happiness is exactly the same thing. When the karma is shed completely, there is just a state what Buddha referred as nirvana, or the Lord Jesus Christ referred the kingdom of heaven. That state of the being is nothing but that, you see. So please remember all these points and remember what I said. And if you have any questions regarding, please write me, text me, write me, email me, and we'll get to it. However, if you were paying attention to everything what I was saying here, you would realize that I have given you quite a few keys, you see, tools, or that you are equipped. That's the word I'm looking for in English. You are fully equipped with the right tools so you can function properly. You see, the immensity of life is hidden to take charge of the memories and the imagination.